he was going to go there, but I think maybe the government wouldn't let him.
Anyways, I'm just saying I may disappear or I may realize I'm staying with you guys. Not really disappear.
Yeah, but go to that instead of this. YouTube and get us up here on Gather. There we go. So they can hear us on Gather as well. All right, and good morning, everybody. Iris, would you like to pray us in?
Good morning, Lynn. Yes, I will pray us in. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Iris. And so I think, I'm not sure, but I think that did we get done with Atonement and Miracles last week and we're on to the Escape from Darkness?
No.
No.
No, we're still there.
Okay. All right.
We're still at paragraph 8.
Paragraph 8.
Of Atonement and
Okay,
yes.
Very good. All right. Well, cool. Glad we have you here to help us remember. All right. So who would like to read paragraph 8?
I'll take it.
Thank you, Rafi.
That the miracle may have effects on your brothers that you may not recognize is not your concern. The miracle will always bless you. Miracles you are not asked to perform have not lost their value. They are still expressions of your own state of grace, but the action aspect of the miracle should be controlled by me because of my complete awareness of the whole plan. The impersonal nature of miracle mindedness ensures your grace, but only I am in a position to know where they can be bestowed.
Okay, so what does this mean? What is he saying? And he's saying that any miracle that we do has an effect on all of our brothers, and that we don't really even know what it's for. And so thinking about, I know that we're thinking a lot about this whole thing of what's happening in Israel and Palestine and all the war, or what's going on in Ukraine and all the war, or in many other countries throughout the world where they are at war, and that we just don't see on our regular news, but which, the world basically is in a state of war. Even this country that we live in is in a state of war. It may not be a war of arms, but is definitely a war of minds that seems to be going on. And so, we may be asking for a miracle in Palestine, but I think Jesus is saying you don't even know the whole plan. So your idea that you want a miracle here or a miracle there, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's where the miracle needs to be worked, or the thing that needs to be done. So, what I think he's asking us to do is this impersonal nature of miracle mindedness, where it's not something that I personally want or don't want to happen, I just need to be miracle minded and be willing to be the vessel for the miracle, and then let Jesus make the decision about what that miracle is for, or who it can be helped. Or maybe my prayer for a miracle that I'm directing at the Ukraine right now is not the real miracle that needs to be performed. And it may be the changing one person's mind, or the shifting of a thought pattern in my own mind, or whatever it may be. I don't know what it is, but because there's no order of difficulty in miracles, the shifting or changing of a thought pattern is as important and as much of a miracle as if we were able to somehow make peace on earth completely happen. Because there's no order of difficulties, peace on earth is no more difficult than changing my mind about the world. And so, directing where I want, cure this cancer, fix this brain tumor, whatever the thing I'm aiming at. I think here Jesus is telling me, don't waste your time deciding where you think the miracle should go. Just be miracle minded and ask for the miracle, and allow that expression of my own state of grace. That's really what he's asking for. And then the action, whatever comes out of it, comes out of it from one who really knows what's going on, not just my idea of what's going on. Does anybody have any other thoughts about that? Iris, please go ahead. Oh, Rafi has his hand up.
When I looked at all of that and come from the point of view of the observer, the awareness, and step back from all of this warring stuff that's going on, I really saw it as like a movie, and having nothing to do with the divine presence of being. There are lessons to be learned from it, of course. And one is I don't take sides. You just stand back, watch it, let it unfold as it is. If there's a lesson in it for you to learn, grab hold of that and utilize it as best you can. And if there isn't, then you're coming from the point of view of the awareness of the consciousness that this is all going on in this dream that never was, and that it was supposed to be unfolding some other way it would be. And I give all my compassion and love. Don't take sides to both sides, because they are about as confused and caught up in ego concepts as they possibly can be. And there's the lesson. Stand back, don't get caught up. Don't take sides. They're not real. This is a movie. This is just a picture that has been projected. It's here for my benefit. And take from that all of it. And again, just stand back, watch, love, and allow.
Thank you, Rafi. That's beautiful. Yes. Yeah, just step back and get out of the game. Because we don't know. Iris, please go ahead.
Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, a bit of an amalgamation of what Lynn and Rafi shared. Exactly, like that's what I was thinking, because like there's that quote from Ramana Maharshi that says something like, your own self-realization is the greatest gift you can give to the world. And like with even like the wars in Ukraine or Israel and Palestine, or the war in myself. It's in a way it's all the same. It's like the war in myself is the same. Like when all things are going on and I'm trying to like fix things, and I'm trying to, when there's no peace in my mind and I'm trying to like fix things outside. There's that quote that says that find your own peace first and everything will fall into place. Or find God first, place God first and everything will fall into place. And put the kingdom first. First things first. All those quotes like be vigilant only for God and his kingdom. And it's true, because when I put God first or peace first, I don't see conflict. And there's that place in the Course that says that the belief in conflict has to be given up in all time and place. The belief, like the idea that something is, it's just a thought, like the belief that something is wrong. I'm talking about like in an individual quote perspective, like the belief that something should be different or is wrong. And there's that. And when I was listening to Lynn and Bruce on the radio, there was something said about the cosmic perspective, which is like everything is perfect, exactly the way it's supposed to be at all times. And the other thing I got was that the life that I think I have, or any of us, like the life that we think we have as a person is just so small in eternity. It's like a blip, like completely insignificant in a way. And to like have that prayer, like God raise my consciousness, raise our consciousness. And those were like the thoughts that go on in my mind when I look at this paragraph. And so it's always my responsibility first. Like, it's not like the responsibilities out there, like for the situation to change. I'm responsible for my own state of mind, and I'm responsible for what I see, like the responsibility for sight. And I'll hand back to Lynn.
Thank you, Iris. Yes, that is just perfect. I think that is just perfect. And that is, we're being asked to join with a lot of other people in concentrating on this one thing. But it's the peace in my mind that really is what I'm looking for, because when there's peace in my mind, there's peace in the world. And we may not understand that because, we think, well, how can what's in my mind change the world? Well, it's what's in my mind that made the world. And so, yes, when I allow my mind to be at peace, and I adhere to seek ye first the kingdom, and all things will be added unto you. That's what we don't believe. We don't believe that, and so we think, oh no, I have to send out prayers, I have to send out soldiers, I have to buy food and supplies, I need to do I need to do all sorts of things because I'm seeking for peace in the world. instead of seeking only for the kingdom, only for God and his kingdom. So we being vigilant only for God and his kingdom doesn't mean that, I'm not going to participate, because of course I will. My brothers asked me to join them, I will join them. But knowing that the joining is not so that we can have some sort of an end in the world of a certain situation, but so that we actually can be at peace in our own mind and to know the truth of what we are. And when we do that, then the peace flows out from that. The peace flows out from my mind and envelops the world. And that's how powerful the mind is. Rafi, please go ahead.
I think you nailed it when you kept affirming this false, I got to do this, I got to feel that, I got to take care of this, what is the separate I? That's coming from an ego perspective. And you're saying, well, they're all separate from me, and I got to do this, and this world is real, and I got to find some way to fix it. And and that'll drive you crazy, and it ain't going to fix anything. All it's going to do is perpetuate what's going on. As soon as you get rid of that individual I and get to the infinite I am, that God presence, and start looking at it for what it is, a projection, and then you can see that whatever is happening is either teaching you a lesson. I heard it here said many times. It's either you're either coming from love or you're coming from, a want for love. That's all. That's what all this stuff is going on in the Middle East, and that's what goes on in everybody's life. Every individual, so-called individual's life, every day, and none of it's real. It's just a projection. And if you get caught up in it, you're screwed. And if you back out from it and see it for what it really is, that it's just that projection, and that it has nothing to do with the reality of being. It's all just mental. And you're not that mind. You're not that ego. Then you can come from a place of complete love, understanding, compassion, kindness, empathy. And that love is the reality of what we are.
Thank you for that, Rafi. Exactly. That and that really, that's all you have to do. Love, 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 love. Instead of I. I think you were saying that last night or the other day. Love, 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 love. That's all there is. Please go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Talking about the Israeli Hamas entanglement reminds me of lesson 22, which I put up in the chat. And I always wondered why he follows lesson 20 and 21, which is really wonderful turnaround lessons. After giving you 19 unlearning lessons, he says in 20, I am determined to see. And then he follows it with 21, I'm determined to see differently. I'm saying, geez, we're on our way home. And then he gives you lesson 22. He says, what I see is a form of vengeance. So, as I see it, that's exactly what the world is. It's a form of vengeance. And of course, Israel now is like the prime form of that vengeance. All they can see is that they have got to do this because of what was done to them. They've got to do this because of what was. There's no voice in Israel that would say, is there another way of looking at this? There's no voice right now. And if you want to look at what chapter, that's I think that's the first paragraph. Yeah, today's idea accurately describes the way anyone who holds attack thoughts in his mind must see the world. Having projected his anger onto the world, he sees vengeance about to strike him, and his own attack is thus perceived as a self-defense. And this becomes an increasingly vicious circle until he's willing to change how he sees, until he's willing to change how he sees. The next lesson, 23, is about I can escape from this world by giving up my attack thoughts. But then 24 and 25 is really the way to begin to look at things. Like, I do not perceive my own best interests. So Israel is only caring right now about the vengeance. They're not looking at their own best interests. And then 25, I don't know what anything is for. I just don't know what anything is for. And then he goes right back into, above all else, I'm determined to see. And then above all else, I'm determined to see differently. So the ego obviously just occupies the mind and says, we must kill everybody. And of course, all we're doing is killing ourselves. I just want to mention at 12 o'clock, and I put this up in the chat too, we all know James Twyman, peace troubadour, Friar James Twyman, will travel to Israel. He's there right now for a worldwide peace meditation on Saturday, October 14th at noon, New York time. And that's in a few minutes. Millions of people will join as one voice for peace in Israel and Palestine. This has been sent to me and sent to many people on mailing lists. I put it on all the Facebook groups. That doesn't mean that at 12 o'clock we have to enter the vigil. It'll be here for 1 hour. And I was thinking how just doing this textbook review of atonement and miracles is really the vigil of peace that we enter into. You know, atonement is what you think happened never happened, and that is truth. Because when you look out in the world and you commiserate with either side, or condemn either side, or whatever you do, you're making it real. You're just making it real. And if you have a peace vigil, the only way to peace is to recognize that what you think happened never happened. That's the only way to peace. And with that, I'll turn the mic back over to you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dove. And yeah, some folks had mentioned that they might jump off and go to that. I'm not sure if they have capacity on that for all the thousands of people that might show up, because I think they can only have 100, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, we can have our own peace vigil here,
Right.
by remembering what we're here for.
Right.
And I think that's in fact, that's really the only way that we can do it. And you know, and I, like I said, I appreciate Jimmy and his aspirations. And I think he is back in Mexico. Actually, he didn't go to Israel.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they just sent this out today.
Well, okay.
All right.
Well,
I don't know.
he might have gone. I mean, he was in Mexico yesterday, so he might be in
Oh.
Israel today. I don't.
Okay.
That's we'll see that if we go there, right? But I guess that will be going on for like an hour anyway. So if we want to jump off and go into that later, or during this, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, I think honestly that the thing that is the most and the only important thing that we can do is allow our minds to be healed, and by focusing on the truth. And the truth is, I know you mentioned that Israel is just basically wanting vengeance, but I'm telling you from my experience and a lot of my friends who are Israeli, they did not. They are like, I can't believe this hasn't happened already, because of the way that that Israel has been in Palestine. There's a lot of guilt there, and I think that the people of Israel are probably feeling very guilty for what they've done to the Palestinian people, and probably a lot of them think they deserve this kind of attack. So and then maybe even call for it in their minds. because, yeah, I mean, my ego, the first thing I thought when I saw that that had happened, my ego, the first thing I thought was, hooray. Finally, the Palestinians are striking out for their freedom. But, you know, that obviously was very wrong-minded on my part, because, you know, freedom has nothing to do with what's going on politically anywhere in the world. And of course, you know, later I was ashamed of myself for saying hooray. But, you know, that's my little, you know, I tend to, this ego of Lynn tends to be very revolutionary. And this ego of Lynn wants to see everyone treated equally. So whenever this ego of Lynn sees something fighting against that unequal treatment, it will feel satisfied. Oh my goodness, now that itch is getting scratched. But the reality of it is, it's all of our desire for war and for vengeance. You know, that I love that he said that. You know, that is vengeance is what this world is made of. And what is the vengeance? The vengeance on God for not giving us our freedom. And there we go. Playing out in the world all over. Sharon, please go ahead.
You know, when I look, I don't know enough about the war because I haven't watched it enough. But when I say I don't know enough, I mean, I am Jewish, and I just got off the phone from my sister. And the way, what I'm hearing is basically Hamas is different than the Palestinians. The Palestinians are not, they're not trying to get revenge on the Israelis. It was the Hamas that did that. Hamas wants to destroy Jews, period. Is that right? I mean, I don't know. Like, this is what I've heard, you know. Because look, I'm very well aware of the fact that Jewish people don't like to see that the Palestinians have been treated terribly. They just don't. I mean, I see that in my family. I see that everywhere. And that's just the ego, the way it is. My son, who isn't in this process, is he's an activist. He works for human rights. So he basically has, you know, where he went to school, he learned that the Palestinians were treated terribly, and he had a whole different education being a Jewish guy, learning that no, the Israelis were doing horrific things too. But in this particular war, wouldn't you say, Lynn, that it's the Hamas that's doing it? It's not really. I mean, Hamas, you could say they're Palestinians, but they're really not. They're a terrorist group. They just want to kill.
It's the government. They're the elected government of Palestine. And even though that election happened a long time ago and they haven't had one since, they're still the elected government of Palestine.
But that they're vicious. I mean, they're killing people for no reason. They're just.
Isn't that what happens all the time? We kill people for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. They think they have a reason because they feel like their people have been, you know, mistreated. And
Well, if you really look at our story, it's just patterns of energy cycling again. I mean, it's Jewish people and African Americans, since I came into this world, have always been people that have been like, you know, the people that have been shunned by, you know, our world, I think, you know, in our story, right? Because you look at and that's the way the story was written. There's no blacks or Jews here, but the story was written that Jews and blacks, you know, are not welcome in the world. I guess that's just the way I see it, you know, but it's part of the story. And what I was trying to explain to my sister is Jewish people aren't the only people that have ever been crucified. This has been going on for years and years and years, but I guess because we have such a minority, that's why they're up in arms now. I mean, they are really, like, when I tell you, my sister's probably the most mild-mannered, most beautiful person, and she was getting upset because I was saying basically that, you know, that the Palestinians aren't really doing. I mean, what I know is that this is done out of vengeance, yes, and it's done out of any conscience, but it's a hate crime that makes absolutely no sense. But you're right, Lynn. I don't think any of it makes sense. So
it's the same old story. And you know, to be honest, it's the story that started with Adam and Eve.
Right,
and
same
Cain and
story.
Eve.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's the same.
Yeah, but you know, it's
story.
funny, if you do this work as long as we have, we get that. But if somebody doesn't and they're just so interested in their Judaism, they will defend it till their dying day.
Right. Well, if you think that you're a part of any marginalized group, I'm a
Right.
woman and I gotta fight for women. I am, queer. I have to fight for queer gender people. I am,
Right.
if I
Yep.
feel marginalized in any way at all, I feel like I have to fight for those rights. But the fact is that everyone is marginalized if they believe that they're a person. Everyone is if they believe that this is their reality. And so it's all a fight for and it's all vengeance, exactly as what Dove read from lesson 25.
I don't know. I can't even watch it because when I hear the things that are going on, it's okay. Stop. I got to feed my dog. I'll just listen now. Thanks. See, the dictator is a cockapoo, and he's just sitting here getting upset that I'm talking and not feeding him. So here I go.
Well, and see, that's the bottom line right there. Don't worry about the world. Feed your dog, because the world.
Do a simple thing. Feed your dog, Sharon. Everything else doesn't matter.
That you can do, and I think that's what Jesus is saying in this paragraph.
Do the
thing
next
you
right
can.
thing. That's what I learned when I got in the 12 steps. Do the next right thing.
That's right. And then
The next right thing is to feed your dog.
Feed your dog. Dove, please go ahead.
All right. As Iris just put up in the chat, judgment, belief in right and wrong is equal to vengeance, equal to war. And I'm being reminded what Veronica Gabrielle, one of our teachers here at ACIM, she was here for many years and she's returned. And she used to say, if there's one chapter in the Course in Miracles you want to read in the textbook, make sure it's chapter 23. And chapter 23 simply says, the war I wage against myself. And that's exactly what's going on right here. I mean, as I see it, everyone admits that the plan of the Hamas is so well planned out. I mean, no one can imagine how well planned it is. I mean, the Israelis who think that they're superior in intelligence, I'm not talking about brains, I'm talking about the ability to know what's going on all over so that they're never taken by surprise, are just amazed at what's going on. But what is obvious, and now they found documents to actually show that it's true. They were planning to take over schools and kill children for sure. Now, why would they do that? Why would they do that? And the most obvious thing that comes to me, at least, is they wanted to get Israel so angry, so mad. This word vengeance is the only thing that they could possibly want to do, is have vengeance. And I really hope, for their sake, they don't fall into the anger vengeance trap, because that seems to be that this Hamas plan is so well done, and they want to get them so angry. Why would you want to make somebody so angry?
Yeah, and that's a very good point. And obviously there were other actors involved, and yeah, I think it's pretty dang funny. Actually, I thought it was hilarious. And please, don't even think this, badly about me, but I obviously thought it was very funny that a people who have been hemmed in on all sides, and no one goes into Palestine or out of Palestine without going through checkpoints and guards, and the Palestinian people can't even leave. They can't go anywhere. They can't go to Lebanon. They can't go to Egypt. They can't go to Israel. They can't go out and into the sea and, go away in boats. They can't, they're captive in that place. Nothing goes in or out. So how in the holy heck did all this stuff show up that now all of a sudden they have all these weapons and they have all these sophisticated systems and all this stuff all of a sudden just right there? And, it just goes to show you that all of the defenses that we put up are meaningless if we keep our eyes only on our own defense and don't look to the actual situation that's going on. And, I think that, there are a lot of things that could have made this not occur, but the fact that it did occur is just a pointer that none of your defenses work. There's, you hold the people down long enough, they are going to rise up. And, that's, we see that happening. The only reason it didn't happen in this country is because we took the people whose land we took, we actually broke down their family structures, broke down their education, took over their children, and we disseminated them throughout the country so they couldn't connect with each other and bring up a revolution. Because, if the Native Americans had had a chance, they would have, kicked us out of here and taken their land back. But they didn't do that because, the system was put in place that would prevent them from being able to do that. And in Palestine, they had no system. They had to do what they what they had to do. And no matter how we think about it, it's the only reaction that you can expect if you have a people that have been basically enslaved and made into having their humanity taken away from them. So there's a lot of points of view here, but the point of view actually that we really need to be looking at is, what does this mean to me? What does this mean to me? And if it means to me that, that we're right to seek vengeance, we're right to try to right the things of the world, we're right to try, we'll never fix this world. This world was made to be broken. It was made as an attack on God, and it was never made to be a place of peace. And the more we try to make it into a place of peace, the more we try to make it real and make it our reality. And we are the oppressed people. We are the people that are being held down. And what are we being held down? This thing we call the ego, that is our master and our guide that tells us what to do and what to think and where to go. And as long as we continue to allow that oppressor to run our business, we'll continue to be slaves. And I think what Jesus has given us is a chance to overthrow the oppressor. I guess in war terms, overthrow the oppressor by recognizing that it has no power. There's nothing it can do to us. It can't change what we are, and it can't change what God made. All right, so let's look at paragraph 9, and enough of this politics, although it's really not, it really is not politics. It's a discussion of our condition and what we think is happening here. So who would like to read paragraph 9?
I'll take it.
I'll read it.
Oh, go ahead, Rico. Go ahead.
Paragraph 9. Miracles are selective only in the sense that they are directed towards those who can use them for themselves. Since this makes it inevitable that they will extend them to others, a strong chain of atonement is welded. However, this selectively takes no account of the magnitude of the miracle itself, because the concept of size exists on a plane that is itself unreal. Since the miracle aims at restoring the awareness of reality, it would not be useful if it were bound by laws that govern the error it aims to correct. Wow. I better listen to this one.
Yeah, go ahead, Dov. I muted you. Unmute yourself.
I'd like to say this Civil War kind of thing did not escape the United States. I mean, 600,000 people died in the Civil War. And all they were fighting over was the same kind of, I'll use the word nonsense, insanity. You know, there was guilt and there was vengeance and all that stuff. 600,000 people in 4 years died over nothing, literally.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And yeah, and it's still going on. I mean, the war is still going on in this country between those same factions of people. We see it every day in the streets of America. So yeah, it's 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 the same thing. Iris, please go ahead.
I just had a thought that like it's this week I've had this feeling that it's kind of like that it's all made up. I've made it all up, everything. And when I rest in that place of no Iris, just expanse, its peace. And like the idea that I have is the laws that we made up. And there are some lessons about like, I am under no laws but God's. And that I am sustained by the love of God. And that I think is going on with all our wars. So like on a war between father and daughter, war in family, war in workplace, war in government, war on a country scale, racial wars. There are so many wars, church wars, different factions of A Course in Miracles, or different like groups, sometimes they war, or different Hindu wars, like my idea is right and this one is wrong and they should believe like me. And all this is like very limited understanding. And it's like just such a limited understanding. And like, it's kind of like when Jesus was crucified because he said things that people didn't like. And it's the same even in teams, in work teams, everywhere, except we think there's an order. Like we think that the war in a team, quote, like is not as bad as the countrywide war, but it's all the same. Like there's still that thought that if someone did it my way, it's like gonna be way better than if they did it their way. And I think the question that I would want to ask is, why is it that I can't let that go? Like, why is it that it's so important to me that that person believe the way that I believe? Like, why is it that I can't just let it go and just say like, you know what, do it your way, no problem, nothing happened. And, I'm still happy. Like if my friend says that the world is square, great. The world is square, no problem. Like there's that place in the Course summary, it says, Jesus says, if your brother is behaving insanely, don't worry about it. You know, even if he asks you to do something, it's saying just do it. Why? Because it doesn't matter. It's really no big deal. Like there is no big deal. And I think like these wars are like excuse me, just like a very small perspective of I'm right, people should do it my way, and you know, aside from my way, everything else is the highway. Like it's just not right. Like and that's how I see. Like if I can learn by myself in situations, if each individual quote, when in our life we are having like these types of quote wars, if we can all practice like, okay, great, no problem, I'm willing to let this go, and I'm determined to see things differently. And I think you know, that is the way, like just to allow that person to be right. Sorry. And I hand over to him.
Thank you for that, Iris. Yes, 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 yes. Is there anything in this world that is more important than my brother and my brothers? I mean, my desire to be right is selfish and silly, because I don't know what anything is and I don't know what anything is for. You know, I may have my ideas, I may have read a book, I may have seen a YouTube video or a TikTok or something that told me what was going on, but I really don't know, and nobody does. Even the people who are doing things don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it. They're just doing out of a desire to do something, and they don't know what it is they want to do. So, you know, that's why we can counteract that, not by trying to re-educate people or to show them the way that's right, or tell them, you know, how screwed up they are in their thinking or any of those things. We can actually save the world by seeing our brother as the Christ. So, you know, what does he say here? Miracles are selective only in the sense that they are directed toward those who can use them for themselves. And so if I am a miracle worker and I am directing miracles, who can use a miracle for themselves? Me, I can. So, and then since this makes it inevitable that they will extend them to others, a strong chain of atonement is welded. A strong chain of atonement is welded. And that means that I connect with you, you connect with your other brothers, we all connect together and make this strong chain of atonement. And I love this. He says, however, this selectivity takes no account of the magnitude of the miracle itself, because the concept of size exists on a plane that is itself unreal. And this is where, you know, he comes up and says, there is no order of difficulty in miracles. Not one is bigger or greater, harder, better than another. And all expressions of love are maximal. So this is not just, you know, I'm praying for the people of Israel, I'm praying for the people of Palestine. I am expressing love, and that is going to everyone, not just the people that we know in this world, all beings in all realms, in all places, everyone, everywhere is being affected by my decision to be miracle minded. And so this decision that is an expression of love that is maximal. It is as big as it can be. It is bigger than the universe. It is bigger than the story, excuse me. It's bigger than anything. It is the size of the allness. So, and since the miracle aims at what? Restoring the awareness of reality, it would not be useful if it were bound by laws that govern its error, the error that it aims to correct. So the miracle, we may be wanting to correct the error that would make people want to fight with each other or make people want to overtake each other. We might be aiming the miracle at that, but the miracle itself is not bound by those laws. The miracle itself is bound only by the law of God, and that law of God is to give all to all, and to teach peace, to get peace, teach peace, to learn it, and be vigilant only for God and his kingdom. Those are the lessons of the Holy Spirit. Those are the lessons that the miracle would bring about, is that everyone is affected everywhere, in all realms, all places where there's been a mistake. The realization of the truth of who we are, the awareness of reality, that is what comes about through my decision to be a miracle worker. And it has nothing to do with fixing any system, anything that seems broken. The miracle itself is aimed at everything, everywhere, all at once. And it affects everything, everywhere, all at once. Does anybody else have any comments? All right, well, we're at the end of this section, and we only have a few minutes left. I'm thinking maybe we could do our own just meditation for a few minutes on the world peace that we're asking for. And let me go and find our beautiful meditation music. And all right. Let me see if I can make this work now. Are you hearing that? envelops the world. Bring about peace and love and joy and all the sunshine. And we all rest in peace. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. And we will see you again next week.